World War II movies have shaped how millions of people imagine the war. From the beaches of Normandy in Saving Private Ryan, to the skies in Dunkirk, to the haunting realities in The Pianist. But for all their power, these films also spread myths, scenes so memorable and convincing that many viewers now believe them as fact. Tonight, we're diving deep into the biggest myths war movies keep alive, and uncovering the truth behind the Hollywood spectacle. Setup: Saving Private Ryan's D-Day scene is often praised as the most realistic battle sequence ever filmed. Spielberg even consulted veterans. Myth: bullets slicing through the water, cutting soldiers down before they even reach the beach. Reality: physics disagrees. Water is far denser than air. Bullets slow dramatically and lose lethality within a few feet. Mythbusters tested rifles, machine guns, even .50 caliber rounds, they all disintegrated or stopped quickly. Expansion: how the myth became cinematic shorthand for terror. Why Spielberg admitted he chose fear over physics. Explanation from ballistics experts: Gregory Taylor's notes on molecular density. Historical anecdotes: soldiers actually survived underwater by hiding, though concussive grenades were far more dangerous. Conclusion: a powerful image, but not a scientific or historical reality. Myth in films: movies focus on soldiers at the front, implying that home, while hard, was safer. Reality: World War II killed more civilians than soldiers. Of 60 million dead, the majority were non-combatants. Expansion: Europe under constant air raids, Blitz in London, firebombing of Dresden, Warsaw's devastation. Asia's forgotten suffering: the Second Sino-Japanese War saw 10 to 20 million Chinese civilian deaths, from bombings, starvation, and massacres. Case study: Hiroshima and Nagasaki, 260,000 plus civilians killed instantly. The story of Tsutomu Yamaguchi, the man who survived both atomic bombs. Soviet Union: half of all World War II deaths were Soviet citizens, many civilians. Cinematic contrast: films like Hacksaw Ridge or Fury show the frontline horror, but rarely depict famine, disease, and civilian devastation on the same scale. Myth in films: movies about the Holocaust, The Pianist, Schindler's List, Life is Beautiful focus almost entirely on Jewish suffering, rightly central, but incomplete. Reality: Jews were the primary target, but many others were killed. Expansion: groups targeted: Roma and Sinti, then called Gypsies, disabled individuals, homosexuals, Jehovah's Witnesses, Black Germans, political prisoners, Soviet POWs. Color-coded camp uniforms: red for political prisoners, pink for homosexuals, purple for Jehovah's Witnesses, green for criminals, black for asocials. Estimates: at Auschwitz alone, 100,000 plus non-Jews were killed. Stories of resistance and forgotten survivors: Czech resistors like Pril Doaz, Polish fighters like Alex Sovi. Cinematic gaps: why Hollywood sidelines these groups, focusing instead on narratives that are more familiar or commercially viable. Message: memory must include all who suffered, not just the groups movies choose to portray. Myth in films: battles are often portrayed as fast-moving, adrenaline-fueled, and decisive. Soldiers fight with endless stamina, and battles are resolved quickly. Reality: combat was often long, grueling, and disorganized. Soldiers faced hunger, exhaustion, mud, disease, and sheer chaos. Expansion: Band of Brothers and the Pacific do better than most, but even they condense timelines. The reality of trench foot, supply shortages, and sheer boredom between battles. Examples: Battle of Stalingrad, months of attrition, civilians caught in crossfire, Siege of Leningrad, starvation as a weapon. Why Hollywood trims battles, audience pacing versus authenticity. Americans and allies are shown as heroic liberators who always fought cleanly, while Axis powers are depicted as brutal villains. Reality, while the Allies fought against tyranny, they too committed controversial actions. Expansion. Firebombing of Tokyo, 100,000 civilians killed in a single night, rarely portrayed. Allied soldiers sometimes executed prisoners. Soviet revenge atrocities in Germany. Why films avoid this? National pride, censorship, audience expectations. Point: no side in. World War II films blend fact and fiction, leaving millions with distorted understandings. Cinema chooses drama over accuracy, but repeated myths become history in the public imagination. Examples: D-Day remembered more vividly from Saving Private Ryan than from documentaries. The Holocaust remembered through a Jewish lens but omitting other groups. Civilians forgotten because explosions sell tickets, starvation does not. Closing message. World War II was not a Hollywood script, it was messier, darker, and more complex than even the best films can capture. By remembering the myths, we also remember the truths they leave out.